Today, anyone can be a writer, and today, anyone can be published. The question is, which is the publishing option that is best suited for you? Hello, I'm Brenda, and this is Write Your Story. I love to help you to write your memoir. As we write our memoirs, we're already thinking in the back of our mind, what am I going to do about publishing? How am I going to get this published? So in this video, I'm going to do a Publishing 101. It's an overview of the options you have as a memoir writer to being published. The number one publishing option that we all consider is, of course, traditional publishing. It is the coveted prize for publishing. Let's be honest about it. If each of us could secure a traditional publishing contract, we would jump at it. Why is this? Why is it so coveted? I think it is that stamp of approval that your manuscript makes the grade. That somebody else with credibility says that you have a good manuscript that is worth publishing, and they're going to take on the financial responsibility of distributing it, getting it published, getting it out there. And that is wonderful, because that means surely that we just get them to sit back, relax, and receive the royalty checks. Well, not so fast. It does, of course, mean that credibility, but there are other things about traditional publishing that need to be considered. This is a highly selective, highly competitive environment. It has always been difficult to get your manuscript accepted by a publisher. Even famous writers previously, who are bestsellers, had their manuscripts rejected time and time and time again before they were accepted. Among them are, for example, Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, big names today who were first rejected time and time again. So what is your timeline with regard to your manuscript? How quickly do you want it published? Are you prepared to do the waiting game? Are you prepared to take the time to find a publisher, to take all the rejection letters, to keep persevering because this is really the route you want to go? If that is the route that you really want to go, then there are 4 things you should consider doing. Number 1, have a professionally edited manuscript before you go knocking on any doors. The next thing you do need to consider is a literary agent. Many publishing houses today won't even look at you if you do not come through a literary agent. And why is that? A literary agent is like a gatekeeper. It will save the publishing houses a lot of time when they know that your manuscript has first been vetted by an agent. The agent will be able to look at your manuscript, know whether it has a fighting chance, know what changes will need to be made even before they go knocking on doors. And the other option is they will know who is best suited for your manuscript. You could be knocking on multiple doors and they're the wrong doors. A literary agent will know which publishing house will be most interested in your manuscript. One of the first questions you're going to be asked when you're approaching publishing houses or even a literary agent is, how many copies of your manuscript can you sell? Gone are the days where you handed over your manuscript to a traditional publishing house and they did everything. They want to know that you can sell a fair number of the copies of your own book before they even take on the financial responsibility of doing the rest of the work for you. So how many do you need? What is the magic number? Well, let's just say the more the merrier. I know of an Instagrammer who had 6,000 followers and she was turned down by a publishing house because it's far too few. We're talking probably over 20,000 followers, depending on your material, depending on what you're writing about. 20,000 followers, that's a pretty steep number of followers. And for first-time authors, it's really hard unless you actually already have a platform that you now are just writing your book to speak to that platform. Most of us actually start with the book and then we build out from there. And so you can see now why approaching a traditional publishing house as a first-time author has a lot of hurdles. Now, with that question of how many copies can you sell, regardless of whether you go the traditional publishing route or the self-publishing route, as an author today, you need to be able to do marketing. You need to be active in selling your own book. Margaret Atwood, who is a celebrated author and novelist, has said, always keep a copy of your book on you because you are a marketer and you never know when the opportunity will come to tell somebody about your book and actually sell them a copy. So if famous authors are telling you that, that is something we all need to consider in our author journey. So with those hurdles in place for the new author in traditional publishing, should we even try? Of course, give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. But for the vast majority of new authors, self-publishing is really the route we want to go, especially if we don't want to wait. Traditional publishing takes a much longer process to even get in the door, let alone then go through the process of actually being published. So if time is of the essence, self-publishing is the route you want to go. The first thing to say about self-publishing is that it's not what it used to be. It used to be called vanity press. It used to be that you could tell a self-published book a mile away compared to a traditionally published book because of the quality. That is no longer the case. There are self-publishing options today that are actually best suited for writers depending on why they're writing and the audience, the market they're wanting to reach, than the traditional publishing route. So before we look at some of the self-publishing options, which are constantly changing and evolving, I think there are 4 criteria we need to consider that will help us to filter which is the one that's best suited for us. The first criteria, the one that I think undergirds all of it, is how many books are you going to write? And very closely linked to that is who is your audience that you're writing for? How many books are you going to write? Are you just in it to write one memoir about your life that you want to leave for an audience of your family, your friends, your social circle, your area of influence? You're not looking for a bestseller. You're not looking to develop a career for yourself as a writer. You have a story to tell. You want to publish it and you want to have it available for a small, intimate audience. Perhaps you have a memoir you want to write and then you think you're going to want to write some other books too. You're just not 100% sure yet which ones, but you're really interested in writing and developing your writing skills. Well, what is the publishing route that will best suit that idea? Or you want to be a writer and you're writing your memoir first to get your voice, to find out what you want to say, and then, hey presto, you are going to be a writer. You're going to write romantic suspense, you're going to write thrillers, or you're going to write young adult, you're going to write fantasy, but this is what you are going to do. The other 3 things we need to talk about then are budget. How much money do you have to spend? Because there will be money involved in making this decision. The next option is control. Do you want to have control over your manuscript? Do you want to control and keep the copyright of your work? That's an option too, in which case traditional publishing is not the route for you. And the 4th option we have to look at is time. How much time do you have before you want to get your book to market? The shorter the time frame, the more self-publishing is the option for you. So within self-publishing, we can honestly go the traditional self-publishing route where you learn all there is to learn about self-publishing. If you're going to write more than one book, well then you can start to develop a team where you have a graphic artist, you have a cover designer, you have a typesetter, you have someone who prints your book that you go to every time to print all your books. You know how to upload ebooks to Amazon and to other platforms. You start to develop the skills you need for that, or you build the team that help you to do that, but you source each one and you pull them together. Or another option you could do if you only have one book to write is you could contact a press company or a printing company, and one that comes to mind is Frisian Press, who does a lot of printing of books for self-published authors, and they have a guide which shows you how to self-publish your own book. But perhaps you need some guidance along the way, and so there are multiple organizations out there now where that's why they exist. The market is so big that they exist to help you to write your book. If this is something you would like to consider or explore or look at, a couple of options come to mind. There's Melody Owen of Author Nation, who has a whole platform for non-fiction authors to help them to do just that, get book coaching, editing, publishing, to walk them through the process. or there's KN Literary that will help you to do the same thing. If you're interested in working with me in the future, then do watch this space, look at the links below, go to my website, because I will in future be offering opportunities to work with me if this is something that's of interest to you. But there is a plethora of opportunities out there. It's a case of finding the one that resonates best with you and that fits your pocketbook. Now, another option, which is the option I went for, is hybrid publishing. Hybrid publishing really straddles between traditional publishing and self-publishing. It straddles the two in that it works a lot like a traditional publisher. They receive completed manuscripts. So they're not book coaches. They're not going to help you to write your book. They're not going to answer questions with regard to how to structure your book or find the theme for your book. They're not going to help you through the writing process. Hybrid publishers are more selective with regard to which manuscripts they receive. And that's why they operate like traditional publishers. But the opportunity of working with them is not nearly as restricted. And part of that reason is because you pay to work with them. They don't take on the financial responsibility for your work, but you get to keep the copyright for your book, and you get to have some input and control over the outcome of your book, which is what I will share in my next video of how I got my book published and why I chose hybrid publishing, why I deliberately didn't go the traditional publishing route, and why I chose not to self-publish, but to use a hybrid publisher to assist me. So watch out for that video. Keep writing, keep your chin up, stay enthusiastic. You have got this. I'll see you in that next video.